moving forward to the next round. Kind of look at the other matchup here in the NL, looking at the 4-5 matchup between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Miami Marlins. Wayne, what do you think?
I've went through so many back and forths, I think, with this one, because it's like the Miami Marlins, like they're pretty hot right now. Like they're eight, I think it was like 18-9 in September. So or whatever it is, updated. I looked up some of these stats yesterday, so like, subject to change there. But yeah, one of the better records in September. So coming in, pretty hot there. That being said, there's a lot of detractors, I think, from me thinking like, oh, this Miami Marlins team, which Miami Marlins or Florida Marlins in previous past in the playoffs, you got to look out for them. I think they're like two out of three, 2 out of 4 playoffs they've won the World Series in, which I'll take those odds, So, but not having Sandy Alcantara, not having was it Yuri Perez as well, like they shut him down there, and it would be nice to have him kind of there, like in maybe more of a relief role instead of like starting pitching. But hey, it's the new age of baseball. I get it now. They still have some solid pitchers there, obviously, though, with Jesus Luzardo and then Braxton Garrett, Edward Cabrera. Like there's still some solid pitching there. But I don't know, this Phillies team, like they're I feel like they're much more balanced than what they were last year, right? And they went to the World Series last year, and I think going into this playoffs, I think that they're more so maybe on a mission there. Like Bryce Harper's playing first base now and everything, and Kyle Schwarber, he's more of the DH as opposed to like in the outfield, which I feel like that's just a better overall suit for everybody than what Johan Rojas out there in center field. Like I feel like they're better in the outfield defensively with everything there. I know they don't have Hoskins, got injured early in their season, but they still have enough hitting. Their bullpen is better. Craig Krimbel out there in the closer position. Is he, Atlanta Braves, maybe 5-10 years ago type of Craig Krimbel? No, but I think he's better than what, maybe the Phillies have had in previous past. And Jose Alvarado, better pitcher, better relief person this season, sub-2 ERA, and, showcased a lot last season, built up his confidence. And I think, this season has just been lights out. So, I have the Phillies, maybe getting to, I don't know if they sweep, but, I wouldn't be surprised if the Phillies sweep this. In my opinion, I just think that even though the Marlins are hot, there's just a lot of momentum, I feel like, with the Phillies, and kind of what their mission and what they're built off last season. So I think the Phillies here, maybe a sweep, but definitely 2-1.
Okay. Man, for this one, I am, on the year, the Phillies, they lost the season series to the Marlins. It was, 6-7. So in a lot of ways, like Miami's put up a really good fight against them at home. Philly is 2-4 against Miami. So that's kind of, boon to at least the Marlins in that front. But, I do see what you're saying. Like Miami had the, over the last 30 days had the better record, one of the best in the league, actually, riding in pretty hot. I think the losses of Sandy and Yuri Perez are going to be big for them. I mean, to go into a playoff, series for the first time in a while. I know they went 2020 in the shortened season, but this is a new team. Luzardo, Braxton Garrett, Edward Cabrera, like these guys, they're not really battle tested. I worry about that. I mean, especially a team that at least last year went all the way to the World Series in the Phillies. I mean, hitting wise, that team is pretty balanced. Lefty versus lefties versus righties. Their numbers are pretty much the same. Trea Turner was one of the hottest hitters in the second half. He gets to feast on a couple lefties here to start it off. Castellanos had a bounce back year this year. I'm sure Harper can hit lefties. I'm sure Schwarber can still get on base. Other things like that. Alec Bohm had a good year. There's a lot of firepower here, and I imagine a lot of confidence. I do worry about the Phillies' endurance in this year's playoffs, just based on the fact that Nola had a really down season this year. I mean, I think he was like mid-4s ERA, and that's totally not him. I think Zack Wheeler gets the bump, in game 1, and he had a really good year. But Yeah, I mean, beyond those pitchers, I mean, like you already talked about the bullpen pretty much in full. Like they have a pretty good mix of lefties and Soto and Strom as well. And then, they can bring Ranger Suarez or Christopher Sanchez out of the bullpen as lefties as well. It's like they've got some pretty good depth in terms of pitching. And I don't really feel like the Marlins have as much depth after losing a bunch of big guys, and their bullpen's not as deep either. So, you know, if Miami wins, games, I know they're going to have to really like scrap together runs, I think. And, Arraez is the type of guy who can help, set tables there. They're just going to need probably a lot from Soler and Jazz Chisholm and, some of their other boppers, Josh Bell, maybe Jake Berger. We'll have to see. But I think this one will be a tight matchup. I think they go back and forth a little bit. I could see this going 4 or 5 games. So we'll just have to see. But I'm going to pick the Phillies, I believe, as well, but in a deeper series.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. I mean, Jake Berger. How about, I know. I was like, why could he do this with the White Sox or whatever? But hey, that's just how the ball rolls there. But yeah, if Sandy was here, not even just both Sandy and Uri, but it's like if Sandy was here, that's a difference maker for me. And I would probably pick the Marlins actually, kind of pulling off this upset if Sandy was here. But I don't have as much confidence in Jesus Luzardo and Braxton, Garrett there. And then I think with the Phillies, if it does go to Game 3, I think they might go with Suarez over Tejuan Walker over there. I think Walker, I think I read something. He has like a 7 ERA in the first inning. Like he's that bad in the first. Yeah, he's not just like whatever. He's got a 4 ERA, and I think he leads the team in wins even. And even with that too, like they're 21-10 when he's starting. So like, okay, great, but maybe not the first inning. Like that's just not his MO. So maybe he's like a long relief in case one of the Aaron and Nola gets rocked a little bit here and there. So they seem to win though when he does show up, but not when he starts. That's a lot of confidence that's going to be lost, a lot of anxiousness that's going to happen if the Marlins were to go up in the first inning by like 3 or 4 runs, and then the Phillies have to make it up. So but yeah, all that being said, I agree. I'm still going to go with the Phillies here. I know there can be said about the Phillies having a 15-13 like record or kind of a mediocre record in September, but last season they had, I think it was like an 11-14 record or something like that. So in September, so all like it doesn't really mean too much there. But yeah, with this roster, more development. I like the outfield defensively a little bit better. Better bullpen. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Phillies here.
And I do need to modify a little bit of what I said. I think I was mentioning 4 or 5 games. Obviously, to 3 games in this wild card round. I constantly get that confused as we kind of move into a divisional series, which in the past used to just be this opening round here. So, yeah, I think this one goes 3 games, but we'll stick with the Phillies here, 2-1.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, they feel like they've been changing up the wild card, trying to make it more interesting for a while now. So we'll see. Hopefully, they just keep a little bit of consistency going forward. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a spin drift?
No, I'm with you. Oh, dude. The only thing I drink on Ball and Breakfast is Spindrift. We're still waiting for some extra attention from them. I was waiting for that like or that comment or reshare of our reel. It hasn't happened yet, but I have faith it will. So
we'll work on it. Yeah, I got some pineapple this afternoon. So yeah.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. The movement is starting. Anyways, so we have our NL. And first off, let's for Milwaukee, Arizona. What do you think? Do you think there's going to go to a certain amount of games, or you think it's 2-0, or what do you think?
I think 2-0. I think between those two pitchers, I think it's going to go to Game 3 between either Merrill Kelly or Zack Gallen. I think one of them should be able to pull off a victory. Albeit I anticipate the Brewers probably going to go with Corbin Burns maybe first, maybe is it Brandon Woodruff and then Peralta. I'd imagine something like that. Maybe Peralta's Game 3. One of those players is going to be able to win that 3rd game, I think, for them. So that's probably where I'm going to lean to.
Gotcha. Yeah, based on what I think of Milwaukee, I think they're gonna set a really strong tone here. I think they go 2-0. Obviously I have a lot of respect for Gallen and Kelly. I think they both had awesome years, and Gallen is definitely in a top 10, top 15 type pitcher in this game. So not to say they can't do it. I just feel like Milwaukee is going to play with a little bit more motivation this time around, and I feel like Arizona might just be a little happy to be there in their first year in a while.
Yeah, I mean, albeit not many people predicted them to, make the playoffs. If we were to have a bet, who's going to make the playoffs, the Padres or the Diamondbacks? Most of us would probably pick the Padres, right? But here we are, and no, I think I did call out the Diamondbacks maybe to have a surprise season, possibly. But obviously I missed out on a lot of other disappointing teams in this playoffs year. So, but how about that? Good season, I think, from the Diamondbacks. I think they can build off this, load up a little bit, in the pitching, fill in some holes here and there on the hitting side too. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot to like, I think, from the Diamondbacks so far.
Yeah, not to be going down a deep tangent here, but to be going into playoffs without the Padres, Mets, and Cardinals based on what we thought they would be in the National League, it is absolutely crazy. And
Yeah.
I mean, the years for all three of those teams finished a little bit differently. Some bottomed out completely. San Diego actually had a pretty decent end to the year, but man, yeah, just shocking. But that's baseball, so I expect similar things to happen here in the wild card series.
Yeah, or the Yankees, and they had one of the best bullpens. If you tell me hey, the Yankees with the best bullpen ERA out there, to not make the playoffs, oh wait, what? Yeah, because their hitting just wasn't there this season. So